Capcom versus SNK Millennium Fight 2000.
Hey everybody, welcome back for another fighting edition of SHOREVIEWKEN. Today we're taking a look at one of my favorite fighting games on the Sega Dreamcast, and a game that I was eagerly anticipating when it was released way back in 2000, and that's Capcom versus SNK Millennium Fight 2000, which was developed and published by Capcom, with, I'm assuming, at least some input from SNK, but I really have no idea. As a kid, I was a huge fan of the various Capcom and SNK fighters that had been released all throughout the 90s, so this game was like a dream come true for someone like me, and it actually features a plot which I never really noticed until just now, but it involves two rival mega corporations hosting a global martial arts tournament in an effort to ease the tensions that have been mounting between them, which is why so many characters that would normally never meet each other have come together. So it's kind of an art imitating life scenario. The basic gameplay of Capcom vs. SNK is pretty much the exact same as any Street Fighter game, except that it's a 4-button fighter, and it features 33 playable characters, 16 from SNK and 17 from Capcom, and while the SNK side of the roster features a variety of characters from various games, similar to a lineup for King of Fighters, the Capcom side only features one character that isn't from Street Fighter, so if you've never played it, don't expect to see Mega Man and Captain Commando jumping around in this one. This is another team-based fighter, but it implements a ratio system which was abandoned in the sequel, but essentially each character is assigned a different ratio number from 1 to 3, and the higher the number, the stronger the character. You have 4 points to play with, so you can have 4 1-point characters on your team, 2 2-point characters, and so on. And I can honestly see why this feature was later dropped, because while it adds a little strategy, I guess, when you're selecting your team, I don't like the idea of certain characters being explicitly weaker than others. Better to keep the playfield fair, I say. Also, you have 2 different grooves to choose from, basically just changing up how your super combo meter functions. There's a Capcom groove, which gives you a super combo meter that's the same as you'd find in a Street Fighter Alpha game, and the SNK groove, which functions the same as King of Fighters 94 through 98. So there are a number of different aspects to the gameplay that offer you some variety, but at the end of the day, it feels more or less just like playing a solid Street Fighter title with an expanded roster to feature SNK characters. Bells and whistles aside, it plays great, the variety of characters to mix and match is outstanding, and it's a lot of fun. Again, one of my favorite offerings from Capcom on the Dreamcast.
Round 2, fight.
Aside from its gameplay, Capcom vs. SNK features some outstanding graphics and sound, and plenty of fan service for fans of both companies. For starters, I love that the art styles of both Capcom and SNK are included in the game, and the designs of the character portraits change depending on what groove you're using. Also, the Capcom redesigns of the SNK characters look great. They're very detailed and definitely do the original character designs justice. Also, the stage designs are really beautiful and enjoyable to look at, with my favorites being the Neo Geo Land arcade, and the Sakazaki Dojo that falls apart as the fight plays out. And something that's especially cool that was borrowed from various SNK titles is how each stage is introduced with a cool little animation at the beginning. A very nice touch indeed. I also really like the little news reports as you progress through the arcade, and even the designs of the menus. It all looks really great. I also really like the soundtrack. There are a lot of enjoyable tunes here, but my only complaint is it would have been nice to hear at least a little bit of music taken from Street Fighter and King of Fighters for some of these stage themes. All things considered, though, this is a game with very little to complain about, if you ask me. Great graphics and sound, a huge roster of characters, and amazing gameplay. Truly a must-play for fans of 2D fighters, so if you haven't already, jump right into Capcom vs. SNK Millennium Fight 2000. It's an absolute classic.